Did you feel like your musical and artistic identity was directly connected with piano? Was it a difficult transition to go to conducting?
No, I loved symphony orchestra from my childhood. So I spent all my free time going to orchestral concerts. Even when I started playing the piano and started being sort of successful with my piano playing. So I went to only 1 or 2 piano recitals by Richter and Gilles, because those played really like symphony orchestras. But otherwise, I spent all my time buying scores, whatever I could get in the Soviet Union. They weren't so, they didn't publish so much of that. But all my life, all my youth at that time, I spent going to orchestral concerts. I was there non-stop all the time, and I learned so much repertoire you can't imagine. But of course, mostly very much Russian repertoire, some Beethoven, some Brahms, not so much. So it was quite limited. So when I found myself that I started traveling to the West, I started buying scores and records. That was big records at that time, of course, 33. I became, because I went to Warsaw, then to Brussels, then to America, and I brought suitcases full of records and scores. And I became a point of interest from many conductors who maybe didn't travel as much as I did. And they said, we know that you have this, could we borrow this, please? I would let them have it, but sometimes they wouldn't return it, unfortunately. But that was my life. I was just growing up on traveling to the West, getting all the music, all the records, all the scores and everything. And of course, practicing the piano, of course, like crazy too. But my development as a musician went like this, parallel. My association with the symphony orchestra was there from my very early age. I never thought I would conduct. And when finally Mr. Rojdestvinsky realized that I love orchestral music so much that I better do something about it. He was in the same school, Central Music School, just a few years older than me. He said, why don't you conduct? Because you're so interested in it. I said, but I don't know, it's too complicated. He said, well, come to my apartment. I wanted to. I play something and you conduct me. So he played something and I sort of did something like that. He said, yeah, okay. You conduct musically. Of course, you don't have any technique. But, I'll show you a few things, And he started showing me a little bit. And I thought I would never do it in any case. But then people know my school, they asked me to conduct the school orchestra. So I did a little bit. And I said, but I can't conduct yet. I have no experience or anything. But I did something, and they played. I said, well, is it okay? They said, yeah, you will love it. But I said, I have no technique. Doesn't matter. But we know what you want to do, and we follow it. Well, that's how it started, So I realized that maybe I could really do it. But I need to learn all the things, By now, of course, I've learned quite a lot.
Is it easier for you to be on stage as a conductor or as a pianist?
I don't know. I hardly play publicly now on the piano. I record, of course, I practice every day. But I don't know what's easier. It's impossible to compare. The responsibility is great, whether you play the piano only and just by yourself, or when you conduct an orchestra. When you conduct an orchestra, obviously, it all depends on what you do. So many people are sitting in front of you, sometimes nearly 100 people. So can you imagine the responsibility? That you have to be clear and yet express something. So that's, I hope I can do it. I hope so. With the piano, nobody can help you. Orchestral musicians, if they like what you do, they help. Piano, just yourself. So it's a difficult proposition.